Welcome to this edition of In-Depth Alaska. I'm John Thompson, and on Friday I had the opportunity to speak with Olympic gold medalist two-time Kristen Faulkner from Alaska. She had an amazing story to tell. Take a look. Has it all sunk in yet, or are you?
No, it definitely hasn't sunk in. I think, I was like one race and then another race and then media, and I think maybe tonight or tomorrow morning I'll be able to like relax and let it sink in.
But you say that, but then on Monday you got the Tour de France Femmes, right? So I mean,
I know I have like 2 days to like let it sink in, and then I'm back to racing, and then I go to Girona after the tour. So I'll be in Girona on August 20th, 21st, and so I think at that point I'll have a week and I can really, go out to dinner, maybe have a glass of champagne, really celebrate. Because right now I haven't had champagne yet. I haven't, really done anything. I've just been in like race mode and media mode. And so yeah, maybe tonight I'll have something to celebrate.
good. I hope you do. You totally, I mean, to the moon, deserve it.
Thank you.
And no, absolutely. The whole state of Alaska is just going absolutely nuts. So you were talking
Oh.
to your friends in Homer there. We talked to Mayor Ken a few times, and
Yes,
that
okay.
guy, phenomenal. He hasn't taken your shirt off in 2 weeks. So that's a
great.
real thing. Yeah. Hey, do you have the medals with you by chance?
I do. I have both of them. Do you want both of them, or
Could we see them? Yes, I
okay,
would be.
yes, let me
All
go
right.
get them quickly.
Awesome.
They're just over here to the side.
Thank you, Kristen.
Yeah, no problem. I had packed most of my stuff, but I haven't packed my medals because I assumed they would need to come out.
Well, and that was going to be one of the questions, is like what you have planned for the medals. If you're going to take them to France, or are you going to give them to your parents to bring home, or kind of what?
I'm going to bring them to France to show my teammates, because I want to, I want to show my teammates and let them hold them. They already have some scratch marks on them from like hitting each other because there's two of them. But here's what it looks like.
Oh, gorgeous.
It actually
Wow.
in the middle of it, it's a piece of the Eiffel Tower, so that steel stuff in the middle, and then the back is actually a really cool design as well. They did a really good job. Let's see there. Yep, and then the bottom has the name of the event, so each medal is slightly different because it has the name of the event. So that's this one. This one is for the road cycling event. And then they gave me this really cool box, this really cool case to transport them in, and I'll open it up so you can see what it looks like. But it's quite neat. It's kind of its own frame for them. So I have this like blur feature on Zoom, but I'll open up the box so you can see it.
Thank you. No, this is so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I've like shown a bunch of people and let them try them on and everything, so I think people are having fun with them. But
You were awesome.
yeah, here's the case for it. It kind of has, oh, oops, blurred. Hold on just a minute. I got to get this right. I got to be able to do this over and over. So you're the first person I've showed this to on Zoom. So this is something I got to practice, So let's see. There you go.
And what does that say? It's there's something in French on the left, and then on the right it says something in English.
That's a great question. It says something. I think it's the 33rd Olympics, Paris 2024, July 26th to August 11th, Paris 2024. And then it says, an Olympic medalist forever, so you can an Olympic medalist forever, so you can wear your Olympic medalist pin with great pride every day. Because there's this little pin at the bottom that they gave us. So
sweet.
yeah,
Well, thank you.
really
Thank
cool.
you for sharing. No, that's awesome. I think a lot of people are very curious about that.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sure you've been asked like all the questions 100 times. So I don't really want to retread, but at the same time, you've had like the most incredible journey, I think. And I don't know, what was it like with the road race event? I know you're like a national champion here, so it's nothing new to you, but coming in kind of not last minute per se, but how was that whole process?
Yeah, I actually decided the night before that I would do the road race. I was pretty torn. I went back and forth whether I would do it or not. primarily because I had team pursuit 2 days later, and the road race would be a massive effort. And I wanted to make sure that if I did it, I would be fully recovered for team pursuit. And the reason for that is just that I knew we had gold medal potential in team pursuit. And I also knew that I was the least experienced on the team. All my teammates have won a medal before in the team pursuit at the Olympics, and I hadn't, because this is my first year with the team. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't the reason that had held us back from winning a medal, and that I was able to show up 100%. And I had done some race simulations, and followed by an easy day, followed by a track day to make sure that I could recover in time. But there's so many unknowns about a road race, the heat, the fatigue, how it's raced, you never really know. And so I was going back and forth, do I do the road race or not do the road race? And as of the morning, the day before, I wasn't planning to do it. And then that night, I just had a gut feeling. I was like, I really think I'm medical capable. I think I've been doing a lot of sub 5-minute efforts, which really help on this course. I think the course is really suited for a last minute attack. I think it's going to be a small selection in the finish. And there were just so many factors that went into play, the small field size, the lack of radios, that I really think played into my favor. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try. I'm going to see what happens. And so I confirmed the night before that I would do it, and the morning of. And so I went into the race and I said, if I'm doing this and I'm potentially risking something for team pursuit, I have to really make it worth it. Like, I really need this to be a good race. I need to really have a medal opportunity for Team USA. So I was focused on racing it really conservative, really smart. And my legs felt really great that day. I think the training on the track had really helped. And I knew I would make a selection if a selection happened. And so it was more about, how do I win from a selection if we come to the finish? And when I was racing back with a lot of Kopecky to chase the two front people, Voss and Voss, I could tell Kopecky was really fatigued and really tired. And I said, okay, well, if I attack her, she won't be able to come with me. And so the moment we hit the front group, I said, this is the time to go. This is when everyone's most tired. They're not expecting it. And so when I was with Lotte Kopecky and we were approaching the front two, I said, as soon as we catch them, I have to go. It's like now or never. It's all in. Don't look back. Don't doubt yourself. Like, you have one shot to win this race, and that's it. And I had to do it because I'm not a fast sprinter. And so I knew that I would get beat if we all went to the line together. And I was probably the weakest of the 4 sprinters. And so there's 3 medals, 4 people, and I'm the weakest one at the line. So there's one way I can win the race. And so that's what I did. I said, I have to attack if I want a chance at winning. And if I don't have if I get caught in my attack, it's kind of the same as if I'd gone to the line as a sprint. So yeah, I had practiced that move. It's a signature move of mine, attacking, late in the race towards the finish. And honestly, people keep saying they were surprised by it, but it's something I've done over and over. It's how I won nationals. It's how I've won many races. And so I don't know why anyone was surprised. That's my signature move. And I think the front people expected it, but they just didn't have the legs to follow.
I love that you have a signature move. That's pretty cool. And like, just listening to you talk about the race, and at the end of the race in the press conference, you were saying, because you come at it very analytically, and you were saying that your former job kind of helped your mind in terms of how you attack the race. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overdo it. I think I've always been an analytical person, even before my former job. I've always been someone who, is willing to take small risks, or big risks. Someone who likes to be all in and fully dedicated to something I do. And I think venture capital is a pretty risky industry, in the sense that you're investing in early stage startups, and many of them could fail. But when they do win and they do work out, they have 10x returns, and so it's kind of a high risk, high reward industry. And I think my attacking nature on the bike is similar to that. And I don't think venture capital taught me high risk, high reward, but I think it gave me the confidence that it's okay if it doesn't work out 8 out of 10 times. If it works out those 2 out of 10 times, it's not a failure, and so it's okay if it fails a few times, because when it works brilliantly. And so I think with my attacking kind of signature style, I know that oftentimes it won't work and I'll get caught, but when it does work, I win the race. And I have won many races that way. And so I think it's more just that it gave me comfort that taking that risk, knowing that it could fail often, is still often worth it, because the expected value can be quite high. And so I think that's what it taught me. And then the other thing it taught me is that, even if there's a less than 50% chance you might win. That doesn't mean you're going to give less than 50% chance in the effort, you know? And so when I made that move, I had to go all in. I had to back it. I had to be full gas because that was the only way I could win. And I think in venture capital, it is pretty similar in that, you know, when you back a startup and you back a company, you have to be all in to make it happen. And there's a low probability for any given company that it's going to work. And that's why you have to go all in. You can't look back. You can't doubt yourself. You have to be fully committed. And so I think those traits from venture capital, I definitely carried into my kind of bike racing personality, my bike racing approach. But I think, you know, was I attracted to venture capital because I had those traits, or did venture capital build those traits? It was probably a combination of both. So
Yeah, you talked about being all in. One of the things that when talking to Mayor Ken, he was talking about how you can do pretty much anything and how you have some really your interests. I think he was talking about you were helping him with some like a serving food. There was some kind of a catering event, and you're like, I could do this. I could be a caterer. He's like, yes, of course you could. But one of the things you were back in Homer rehabbing an injury. And why did you go back to Homer, and how did that help you out, do you think? Just that whole process of healing and getting ready for these games.
yeah, it's funny people ask me this because the question is like, you could be anywhere in the world. Why did you choose Homer? And I was like, I chose Homer because I could be anywhere in the world, you know? And and so it's kind of funny that it surprises people. You know, Homer is my favorite place in the world. It's where I grew up. It's where I had my earliest childhood dreams. My parents still live there. The house I grew up in is still there. And so when I race during the season, I actually can't be in Homer because all my races are in Europe. They're a week apart. It's not feasible to fly 30 hours each way. And so I really have to live in Europe for most of the year. And so when I had the chance to go home and I could ride on it, I was supposed to ride on an indoor trainer. And so I couldn't ride outside. I said, well, if I have to be inside, I could be inside anywhere in the world. You know, why not spend it in my hometown with my parents and in the place I grew up in? Especially because I don't get to spend summers in Alaska anymore. I'm in Europe pretty much during the season. And so it's kind of a funny question because people act surprised. And I'm like, it's because I could be anywhere that I wanted to be in Homer. And so yeah, I just wanted to be around the people I love, the people who support me and my community.
And speaking of the people you love, they took a lot of shots of your parents at the team pursuit and in the crowd there. What did they say to you? How are they feeling? It's got to be incredible.
Oh, they just said, I'm so proud of you, you know, and I could feel it in their voice. I could feel it in their hug. And you know, my parents, they were there from my earliest athletic days. They remember when I was a kid and dreamed of going to the Olympics. They were there before my injury. They were there when, you know, no one really believed that I could become an Olympic cyclist, and I kept working, and you know, they believed in me before anyone else did. And I think for them, you know, to the outside world, I think it seems like this journey is a bit of a fairy tale story. It's like she left her job and went to the Olympics, and it seems like, you know, there weren't a lot of bumps in the road. And the reality could not be more different. And I think, you know, I went through injuries, I went through setbacks. I wasn't selected for the Tokyo team, even though I really wanted to be. I missed out on the time trial selection this year. I've gone through depression and come out of it, you know, as a bike racer. I moved across the world where I didn't know anybody, and picked up, you know, a new job that my friends and family knew nothing about. And I was moving to a place I didn't know anybody. Was pretty much on my own those first few years. And so I think for my parents, they've seen the really bumpy, dark road and hard road that led to it. And I think that gave them a lot more emotions than most people because they really saw me persevere and have so much resilience to come through those moments. And so I think for them to see it all work out for me was just really, really amazing for them.
I feel like there's a message in there to young ladies as well, and young people that are going to be looking up to you, especially here in Alaska. You know, you're on the map. It's pretty cool. What do you say to them, to young people who aspire to do great things?
Yeah, honestly, the biggest thing I think, the first is never sell yourself short. You know, there's no dream that's too big. I think no one would have thought that I could have gone to the Olympics, let alone win 2 gold medals in an event that I started in my 20s, you know, a sport that I learned in my 20s. And I think, you know, the Olympics is kind of the pinnacle of sports. And so some people might say, oh, I could never achieve that. And I think you know, don't ever be afraid to dream big. Don't be afraid to doubt yourself. Um, And then I think the second thing is, Ken mentioned this, and I think it's really true. I think Alaskans are just cut out a bit different. I think we're tough. I think we're resilient. I think we're quite independent, just being, a little bit off the grid as a state. And I think that resilience and toughness really shows in sports. And I think that resilience, to be an Olympic athlete, it's not about just working hard. It's about coming back from setbacks. It's about playing the long game, and focusing on the daily improvements where you get no validation and no recognition and still moving forward for years and years and years. And that's the part of the story a lot of people don't see. And I would say, just keep working hard, keep your eyes on the prize, and don't doubt yourself, and don't be afraid to dream big.
Thanks, Kristen. And your schedule's crazy, and you got a lot more coming up. Tour de France Femmes, and then you keep going right throughout the summer, or into the fall. When do you plan, or when do you think you'll be back in Homer? I know that they got some big plans for you when you come back.
Well, I'm definitely coming home for Christmas, so I'll see everyone at Christmas and the holidays, and I'm going to bring my boyfriend with me, and see my family, and hopefully have my family go back for Christmas as well. So I'm going to make sure to give everyone a hug when I come home for the holidays.
Awesome. And then what's after the Tour de France, did you say?
I have a race called Ardèche. It's a quite a long multi-day stage race in the south of France.
Okay.
And then after that, I have the World Championships for Team Pursuit on the track.
So you're still rocking this Team Pursuit. How do you feel about that? Because that was pretty new to you, the old velodrome and everything. How's that experience? Are you're loving it, obviously? Or
yeah. Some people are like, "Oh, are you going to stop after the Olympics?" And I was like, "No, like I really enjoy it." For me, it wasn't just about going to the Olympics. I really enjoy the track. I think it really helps with my road racing. It really pushes your VO2 systems physiologically, and clearly the track training really helped with my road race. And so I want to go win a world championship on the track. We have the world championships coming up, and the goals don't stop. If someone asks me if I'm still motivated, and yes, I'm definitely still motivated. So that didn't change because of the Olympic medals.
Hey, thanks for listening to In Depth Alaska. Please like and subscribe to this podcast.